Hey yo, I remember my grandmother telling me, motherfuckers put the heat up to 100 in the crib. It's time for you to get the hell out.
Money, cars, clothes, hoes. That's all a nigga know. That's all a nigga know. Yeah. Slow dough, and fast hoes. Had a dream like King, but living like Castro. Living mind steady.
What up, everybody? Thanks for joining in for another episode of Run It Back, where we highlight the area's greats throughout the years, or should I say yesteryear, that made their imprint on the basketball hardwood floor. This week, or should I say this episode, we showcase someone that not only did a lot of scoring, rebounding, assisting, but they pretty much did a little bit of everything. Some of the things that don't show up on the stat sheet. And as you see, our previous guests, we had a lot of prolific scorers and rebounders. But this week, we're throwing a little twist to you guys. We got our first lady that made her imprint on the hardwood floor back in the day. And this person comes from none other than Waterbury's own Crosby High School. So stay tuned. We're going to have some fun. It's going to be interesting. And, sit back and get ready to embark on it. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please join me in a nice round of applause for Ms. Margret Hayward Bowen.
There we
How
go.
you doing?
Doing good. I'm doing good.
Yes,
Hello,
you're
everyone.
sitting on the couch.
I am sitting on the couch, relaxing.
Relaxing.
Absolutely.
This is what we do. We come up here, we chop it up, we relax, we laugh, we tell some stories, and hey, that's what it's about.
Nothing is wrong with that.
And what I like to tell people too is, it's kind of like my thing is, when we giving these shows, it's really a history lesson. Giving our city a history lesson on who was here before was here now. You know what I mean? So a lot of times we get caught up and we forget who's who or who did what. This show is pretty much to wake everybody up and say, hey, remember when this one did this? Don't forget about this one. Don't forget about when this one did that. So, I thank you for joining in with us this episode.
Excited to be here.
Yes.
Excited.
So, Margaret, let's start. Just with you, where did it all start? Like, not so much the basketball, but, for you, how did everything start, like, as a youngin' growing up in the city of Waterbury?
Well, as a young person growing up in the city of Waterbury, I kind of was all over the city, pretty much. I pretty much started, like, growing up on Ive Street, so kind of that's where I kind of pretty much knew the whole Ive Street area on Wood, Walnut.
Okay.
And I think probably, like, around 10 years old, we kind of moved out of that area and we went to the East End. So that pushed us into, like, the Austin Road days.
Austin Road, okay.
Bringing me to East Farms and Wallace, like that in Crosby. I'm pretty well, equipped with, the north end side and the east side. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. So now, we talking, late 80s, early 90s. You know what I'm saying? We all know what those times were. Those the good old days.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
What was that like for for someone like yourself? Where you figure, in the urban communities, a lot of the young ladies were partaking in double dutch.
Yes. Skating outside, riding your bike.
Yes.
It had to be in before the lights.
Tag,
things like that.
all the little stuff.
That's absolutely it.
Exactly.
Oh my God, absolutely. So those days were like fun. I mean, at that day, in our age, we were always outside. Your parents said go outside. You were never in the house. There was never a time you had to be in the house. The adults were in the house. You were outside the house.
See, and it's funny you say that because like back then, to be in the house, you was on punishment.
Absolutely.
the only thing that's gonna keep you in the house is you on punishment. Everybody else was we outside.
Absolutely.
Because you felt like you was missing something if you couldn't go outside.
Correct.
Because it was so much. You either playing some type of sport, you playing kickball, you playing tag, you just all the kids back then. And not to say the kids aren't doing it so much now, but they're not.
Correct.
But back then, like, we was outside.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And you didn't get in, if you got in trouble outside. So and so's mom could hit you.
Yeah.
And then later on, your mom would get you and she'll hit you. So, I mean, hey.
Yes. So, what does, you know, early life for you in terms of just pretty much being active in the community with the rest of the kids and kind of like sports or competitive activities?
Well, growing up, pretty much, I was like the babysitter anyway. So there's a lot of kids that I used to babysit. I guess my parents trusted me, and then their parents trusted me. But when it came to sports, I don't think I got into sports really. I was always like the tomboy anyway.
Okay.
You know, you didn't care what you looked like or what you did. You just did whatever. So I don't think I really got into sports until I moved over to Austin Road.
Austin Road, okay.
Yeah, because then by then there was just so many kids in the neighborhood, so many kids in the projects all over. So
everybody outside.
Everybody outside. So it's like, whoa, okay, this is different. What we're gonna do here? But for me, sports didn't really take off until like I would say middle school. But actually, I was gonna be a cheerleader. People don't
Get out of here.
Yes, I was gonna be a cheerleader.
Oh, okay.
But when I realized I couldn't do a split or a cartwheel, I was like, this is not for me.
How far did you take the cheerleading process?
I think I just took it that one day. And
you tried out?
I tried out. I was like, nah, this is not for me. So I was like, nah, I got to figure out something else. I tried softball, but it was dirt, so I didn't want to play in the dirt.
Right.
So that was just weird. So then I just started, I said, oh, I'll try basketball.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think I was good at it. I don't even know how it even happened. I just said, oh, I'm going to try basketball.
I'm going to try basketball.
And there was a park in Austin Road.
Okay.
We used to call it The Rock. So I used to follow like T. Davis. Who was like one of my close friends.
Yes. Shout out to T. Davis.
Yeah, Terry Edwards.
And
Jamie Miller.
Jamie
like,
Miller.
These were two guys. Yeah. Terry and Jamie Miller. They couldn't play because of their religion and stuff like that.
But they was pretty good though.
Oh my goodness, absolutely.
They were good.
I used to say if they were
all
on
three,
the teams,
if you can watch all three of them.
Absolutely. But T. Davis was the person that, you know, back in the day would be at The Rock. All the guys be out there playing, and so I kind of picked it up that way. Okay. And then I would watch them carry this rock and put it right there. I think it was 2 big old rocks.
Okay.
And then people just grab it, just dunk on it.
Oh, they run on the rock and
just dunk on it. Yeah. So you know, hey, I'm gonna try the same thing. I think I got injured. I think I still got the mark on my thumb from trying to do the same thing they could.
Oh,
because
man.
I figured if they could do it, why can't I?
Why can't you?
But I got jacked up, so I didn't try that. But yeah, just watching them play.
Okay.
You know, and then I started playing. Then, you know, of course, I remember from being, you know, near Ives Street, you know, Jared Waters and all them who went to school with me. So just kind of watching them. So I started playing basketball. That's when it started. Wow. Mr. Rankin, I think, was my coach.
Mr. Rankin.
Yeah, he was a math teacher. Yes.
He was my math teacher in Wallace.
So.
I think he ended up being a high school coach too.
Yes, and then.
Yes.
I was like, what is going on? But yeah, he was my, you know, 6th through 8th, and pretty much our team wasn't that bad. I think we're pretty good.
Okay.
It was a nice, you know, roundabout team. I was actually the point guard. I stayed the point guard. And then I guess I wound up going to Crosby. My mom actually wanted me to go to Westover, I think it was. Wow. And I was like, I'm not going to all-girls school. That could not happen.
Couldn't happen.
I am not going there.
So before we get to the high school, so all right, so now you go off for the Wallace team. Now which grade was you in when you did that?
I was in 6th grade.
6th grade, you went off for the Wallace team. So you played 6th, 7th, and
yeah.
Okay, 3 years.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now your position you said was point guard?
Yes. I think I've only played point guard. I don't think I've ever played any other position but point.
Okay. Now, in terms of, you know, getting your knack for ball handling, controlling the pace, obviously, you know, you're young, you're still kind of like learning the game. But when did you say, or did you ever say, like, you know what, this is me, this is where I need to be?
Well, I think I've never really channeled that part. It was a sport I was playing in it. I was pretty good at it. I picked it up pretty easy, and I just went with it. And I was just playing this for fun.
Okay.
You know, all the other girls were older than me, so they were just like looking to me. And so I'm like, okay,
yeah,
you in charge.
You in charge? but you said something, you know, kind of that kind of like go hand in hand with kind of like being a point guard. The point guard is, we always say, the point guard is like the offset of the coach. And you said, growing up in the neighborhood, you know, you have to watch all these kids, offset from the parents. Your parents trusted you with your kids, and the neighbors trusted you with the kids. So it's kind of like you're an offset of the parents. So now you transition that to sports, basketball primarily, you're the offset of the coach.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think it's, you know, some of those qualities that certain positions need to have, like the person has to have.
Absolutely.
To you know.
In this day and age, knowing it now at my age and being a coach, absolutely. You know, you understand it way more now. I mean, in this game, you grow to learn, you grow to do better, and everything. Anytime you think you got it, you don't got it because something else comes up.
Right.
You know.
So, did you face any bumps and bruises early on in 6th grade, maybe even 7th grade?
Not to my knowledge. Once I was playing, I think, you know, from my knowledge, I mean, Jesus, way back then, I think everything was pretty good, you know.
Okay.
We had some wins, we had some losses. I mean, I don't think there was a superstar. You know, like the boys, you know, it was just boys. You know, the boys were this, the boys were that. And then you had some couple good key players. Most of our players were from most of the girls on the hill, like that. So I think we were just kind of all around.
It's funny, you know, you say that because my next question was going to be, Wallace kind of like have a history of kind of like the boys team being pretty good and competitive. So now you coming in as, okay, playing on a team from 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, but you coming in as, okay, you're adapting to that culture. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, you're friends with this one, you're friends with that one. So you're around those guys.
Yeah, I was around a lot of them, which became my best friends.
Yes.
Because I mean, you know, they'll be in the gym talking junk. We'll be watching them play.
Okay.
And so you'll pick up stuff like that. And again, T. Davis was one of the people who was my best friend, so I was always around him. We're always at the park, stuff like that. So you watch him, you're like, oh, I could do that too, you know.
Now, did you, not to cut you off,
okay.
but did you ever find yourself playing with the guys?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What's that like?
I mean, I think for me, I'm just
early
a competitor.
on.
To be a competitor, you just try. Don't block your shot. You're like, whatever. You know, like that. And, you know, they'll talk junk, so you just talk junk back.
Yep.
But again, I would still lose. So, but it was interesting playing against them. They never once said I couldn't play or, you know, we'll just laugh it off. And then eventually, you know, of course I have to sit down because I got beat.
So they didn't take it easy on you?
No, why? I wouldn't take it easy on them. So,
okay.
You know, vice versa, you know. Because at the end of the day, if you didn't play good, they were going to joke on you or crack on you. So, you know, you got to give to get. And so you just play the same way.
And you know, when you come up in a lot of these like urban communities where basketball is predominantly the sport, when you happen to be that female that, hey, I want to play, and you like the homegirl, you know, a lot of the homeboys, they ain't taking it easy on you.
No.
You know what I mean? You got, okay, if you going to the line, or you want to take that layup, you're getting fouled.
Exactly. And I'm going to foul you too.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem.
Right.
Listen, you're not going to embarrass me.
But you find, you know, like a lot of the ladies that kind of like made their imprint when they have stories where they play with the, you know, with the guys and stuff like that. The guys, you know, not to sound sexist, but you became one of the guys on the court.
Yes,
you know
and that is like a whole nother world.
Yes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And, you know, so you played 6th and 7th grade. Now, how's 8th grade? 8th
grade was fine. You know, it was that point where, I mean, again, not really remember, but definitely still score. And then definitely it was, okay, time to find out what school I'm going to go to. My mom, again, she wanted me to go to Westover. I think if I knew that back then, I probably went to Westover. But I'm like, what does she know? She doesn't know about sports.
Right.
You know, my family doesn't play sports, so what would she know? And I'm like, I'm not going to an all-girls school.
Yeah.
I'm going to Crosby.
Did you find, though, your confidence growing from 6th, 7th, now you're in 8th grade? Did you find, like, you know, your confidence is growing, you're honing in on the skills that you're starting to develop?
Well, I would say for a person of myself, I've always had confidence, so that part was easy. It was just a transition of going into high school now. I'm going under Dildred Peoples, who was probably one of the top guards.
Yeah, shout out to Dildred from the Hill.
Yeah, yep.
Lois?
Yeah, I think Lois was way before me. But there were, I can't even
that
remember.
lineage, though.
Yep. But Dildred was like probably the top guy. I think I got to play with her 1 year.
Ooh.
And then she kind of graduated after that. But it was, nice going under. When I was going there, Mr. Wardell Ward, he was the coach.
Yes.
And I believe his assistant was Deneen Fryer.
Okay.
So they were the coaches, and they were the ones talking to me. And so, I went to, I wound up going to Crosby my first year. So
Okay.
it was interesting.
So, okay. Now, as we kind of like get into Crosby, is there any thought to, all right, your parents wanted you to go to Westover.
My mom did.
Your mom wanted you to go to Westover. So were you saying, no, I'm going to Crosby, or I'm going to any school besides that?
Nah, because at the end of the day, I didn't understand. For me, I didn't understand it still. I'm
Okay.
just playing it. It's a sport. I'm going to play it. So I was always going to Crosby.
Okay.
I wanted to go there.
Yep.
I was already at Wallace.
That's the natural transition.
That's the natural transition to go
Yep.
into Crosby, which, no hesitation, I went.
Okay. All right. So now you're in Crosby, and like you said, you see Dildred. What is that like? Now, do you start to measure yourself or your talent when you start seeing females on the high school level play?
Well, yes and no, but a lot of them, I guess, knew of me too.
Okay.
So, and then on top of that, I'm going to a school where, remind you, I'm from the north end side.
Okay. Yes.
So I get to meet some of the guys that I grew up with.
Yes.
Who kind of like took me under their wings. So it's like, I'm already kind of a celebrity here.
You already-
'cause everybody
yeah.
kind of knows me. And so, some of them are like, oh, it's my little sister and stuff like that. And so
Yeah.
that kind of segued me in. Plus, on top of that, I'm coming in there with, Marcus was supposed to be going there. T.
Yeah.
Davis was all supposed to be going there.
Yes.
And they just went left on me. So, but Jared stayed,
Jared,
and Chris
okay.
Ortiz and them kind of
Good.
stayed like that. So I kind of channeled into that. So,
Okay.
which made the transition a little bit more easier.
Okay.
Which most kids don't get that opportunity.
No. And it's good that you had, pretty much in middle school, you had Marcus T, you know what I'm saying?
All of them, yes, absolutely.
You had, it's not like you had just any old guys. You had guys that became stars at the high school level.
Yeah.
So, to kind of like come up under their wing is kind of like an added confidence,
Yes.
so to speak. Knowing you hang with them, you play with them, they ain't going to take it easy. They're going to tell you what you need to do, or, so now you going to school, like you're a freshman. Now, just bring us back if you recall. What is like that first day of basketball trials? Are you like, okay, I got this, or I got to prove myself, or let's see what happens?
Well, I guess at the time, it's so bad to say, Crosby wasn't really all that at the
Okay.
very beginning, because
Okay.
at the end of the day, they had other schools. They were okay. So to me, I just was like, okay. And they were asking me to come there. They did know who I was. They did want me to come there. I think, so I, of course I made the team immediately, but I went out on leave too, because I got injured. Well, I had to go for surgery. I didn't get injured, so I would have surgery. So for, I would say, halfway through this, I didn't play most of the games my freshman year.
Okay.
Because I was out on surgery, which took, I think, probably like a good month off.
Okay.
And then came back, so I missed half the season there.
Half the season. Okay, so now, you got freshman year pretty much under the books. Your sophomore year.
My sophomore year, pretty much, when I came back my freshman year, I think in between there, Mr. Ward kind of left.
Okay.
So it's just like, what?
Okay.
Which, he's the one who kind of got me more into, because before that, it was like, boom, I'm going to the rec. It's the first time being introduced to the Northern Rec Center, because our
Okay.
practices are there. So I'm like, okay.
This is your sophomore year.
This is like my freshman, towards my end of my freshman
Okay.
year.
Okay.
So before that, I was going to the boys club. T was going there, so I was going there.
Right.
With
right.
Rob Generali. So hey.
Yeah.
So I would take the bus to go to the boys club, because that
Yep.
was where I was at. But then once I got to Crosby, Mr. Ward introduced me to the Northern Rec. So we had practices there. And so then sophomore year came back around, and I was able to play. And then it started taking off a little bit there.
Now, would you say that you started once you got into high school, you started taking basketball like more seriously?
I would say yes and no, because again, not understanding the whole concept of basketball. Okay. So people were like about 1,000 points. I knew nothing about that. I don't think anybody explained that to me. Yeah. Again, I was just playing the play. I think when I kind of took it a little bit more serious was I would say my junior year.
Yeah.
And that's when I believe Deneen Fryer wound up being our coach. Sancha Works wound up coming from Holy Cross.
Yes.
And that's when she was like, we have to take it. And then actually both of us went to camp together. We went to Syracuse.
Okay.
And I think that's when we came back and was like, okay, here's what we're going to do.
So, so that's your junior year, right? Mm-hmm. So, are you engaged in any preparation in the summertime?
I think sometimes I would go to the rec center sometimes. Absolutely, I would go down there. Darius was there, so he would be the person to kind of work us out. He wouldn't work me out. He'd be working everybody else out. Because he knew them, so forget me.
Right,
but I'm a person of, I knew I had a condition. I knew what to do anyway, so I would kind of do my own workouts. Okay. But I'll be able to get in every now and then if he said something to me. Most of the time, he didn't really know me. He just knew me because of Mr. Ward, Ralph. And then if he knew somebody else, he was on Sancha, Carolyn Bassett, Veronica, all of them. I'm from Crosby, they're from Kennedy, so that's his thing. I'm, nothing, you don't want nothing to do with me. But so definitely there was times I would work out with him, and then I'd just go back to school and just play.
Okay. So as you jump to your junior year, but I just want to kind of gradually get there. Mm-hmm. Are you doing any more, since you say kind of how to condition yourself and how to navigate, do you find yourself now playing more pickup games at the basketball court?
Yes, I would definitely, absolutely.
Okay.
We would, again, we would practice, we would play at the school practice, whatever, leave that, go to the outside where the court was at Austin Road to play there. Definitely, I lived all the way in Austin Road. I'm walking all the way down from Austin Road all the way down to the rec center, or I'll take the school buses down there.
Because keep in mind too, not to cut you off, just kind of just putting ourselves in the framework of back then. There wasn't a lot of females in the neighborhood that played ball.
No, I think
so a lot of times you'll be playing with the guys. A lot of times.
Growing up, I think the only person that I ever heard of that played basketball, and I mean, she was never around.
Okay.
And it was Darlene Kelly.
Okay.
She was the person. They're like, oh, she's this, that, the other.
Yes.
And where I live, her complex was right there, but you never seen her. And then when she did come home, she would talk. So she's the only person outside of Dildred that I ever heard of. And then being in high school, you heard of Barb Love.
Yes.
And then the girls I wanted to get to girls, it was Lanisha Ward, who was a track star. You could not keep up with her.
Right.
Danita Draper from Willoughby. And then Vernita Jordan, of course. I think if I choose to play with a player, she would be the person that I would want to play with.
Okay.
She's pretty good, point guard. But yeah, Darlene Kelly was the person I had.
Yep.
And she was, I think she was in college playing or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you had to make your way to the rec.
Yeah,
you had to troop it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not necessarily
because
troop
my
it, but
spot was on the hill with all my friends there.
Okay.
They never really played basketball. They were just all girly girls. Yeah. They were all just girly girls. Except for Nakia Hurdle. So Nakia Hurdle did
I was about to get there.
Yes,
I was about to get there. So, let me just get there before we take a little break. So now you're starting to see talent come through Crosby. Mm-hmm. The girls side. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, when you came through, you guys wasn't the strongest team, but as the years go on, Nikita Hurdle, you start getting additions to your team that we serious.
Yeah.
We can make some noise. Now does that make you focus more, or
no?
Was you still kind of going through it?
I was just still kind of still going through it. Like I said, with me and Sancha Works, I think that's when we kind of started okay, let's do this. Let's come back. When we come back, we're gonna do some stuff. She was my power forward. I knew as a point guard to get her the ball.
Okay.
That was the rule.
So we're gonna take a quick break on that note. Sancha works.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna come back on that. All right. So, picking up where we left off. You talking about some of the players. Well, you said Sancha works.
Yes.
So I just want to just give a name. You played with Sancha Works, Yvette Royal.
Yep. Was under me.
Casey King.
Keating. Yep.
Nakia Hurdle.
Yep.
Lori.
Yep. I would kill her name, but that was my girl.
Prejudice.
I would kill the name, so I will not say it.
But
she was my lead toe now, I think it is. Yeah.
But these are, some players that you played with that were, known to, they can score a little bit.
Absolutely.
Now, for you to be the facilitator, like, did that kind of like make your job easier?
Yeah, especially because, me and Nakia Hurdle were friends.
Okay.
Casey and Lori were real close with us too. We were all in school together. Plus, we would do pasta dinners at their houses. So it was that whole team bonding that went hand in hand. But then when Sancha Works did come in as a transfer from Holy Cross, it was nice to connect with her. We went away to camp, and we just learned and gelled from there. I think that's when our year was like exciting, actually.
Because I was about to say, there was a time where Holy Cross and Sacred Heart was giving it to y'all.
Every team was giving it to us.
Especially so
I don't think people remember Jessica Mudry.
Yes.
Just oh my goodness.
Yes. She was a beast.
They retired her.
She was a beast.
And at Naugatuck High School,
yes.
She was like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
She definitely was a point guard who was amazing. Can do anything, can shoot, penetrate everything. So yeah, I think we used to get beat a lot. I think our junior year is when we kind of started really getting together, really getting playing. I think our sophomore year we made states, but something happened.
Okay.
Where it didn't go through. So I think my junior year we wound up doing it because by then Deneen Fryer was the full blown on coach.
Okay.
She had taken over with after Ward had left.
Okay. So you hear over the years how the Crosby Wilby, those games were huge. Primarily back then, a lot of those because it was the talent pool was so great. Mm-hmm. There was all stars at all the schools pretty much. But I know just kind of like a kid coming up, the Crosby Wilby games were big. Kennedy Wilby, Kennedy Crosby. But for the girls, what were some of the big games for you guys? That you kind of got up a little bit extra for.
Well, I think of course you always get extra for Holy Cross because they're Holy Cross. Everybody in the city kind of hated them.
Hated Holy Cross?
Yeah, everyone
wanted
to be Holy Cross.
Wanted to be Holy Cross?
Yeah. And then there was the Sacred Heart, of course, and then there was Wilby because they had Lanisha Ward, Denita Draper. They had some really big girls up there. Vernita, who I think was came in a little bit after me, but she was there. So they had really Rochelle Harling, I think it is.
They had Sharita.
Yep, Sharita. That's she was at Wilds with me.
Okay.
But yeah, they had some tall girls.
Yeah.
So you knew when you went into the gym with them, it's gonna be competitive. No mistaken, you couldn't go in there and sleep on that because they were definitely good.
Okay. Why did everybody not like Holy Cross though?
I think they were the team to beat, which they always came in. I mean, we did beat them, so I don't know. Mm-hmm. It was one year we did. I think my junior year, Sancha was a senior. I wasn't supposed to play. I got injured twice, but Sancha was my doctor. No one ever know that story, but yeah, Sancha was my doctor. She acted like my coach, and
Well, so that probably was a bigger rival because she came from there.
Absolutely.
So that was more of a, So do you know why she left?
I don't recall why she left. I think she wound up coming in her sophomore year anyway. Okay. And I'm pretty sure she had to come to Crosby because that was her district. Most of the people from Long Hill came.
But she's a huge loss to that Holy Cross team.
Absolutely, she was. Absolutely. But she was definitely a good asset for us.
Oh, yeah.
That little left
hand. Yes.
So us gelling together, us going over Syracuse, us bonding, that kind of helped, us to come back and really bring the team together, which was nice. And that's when, it was okay, we're playing now.
Right.
We are playing.
Okay, let's see how good your memory is. let's jog that memory.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw some numbers out there. What does 54, 29, 11?
54, 29, 11. What we get? That's how much you got beat by.
Wait, what is it?
I don't know what how many you got beat by. 54, 29, 11.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
All right. So 54, 29. That's the score between y'all and Wilby. You had 11 assists that game.
Yeah, I can see that.
Lori, she put up 23.
Yeah, she was
She
our
had 14.
shooting. She was our shooting
So
guard.
that was like one of those games where, you know,
Yeah.
you did your thing, like controlling the pace,
Yeah.
dishing out the assists, and
Thank
like
you
your
for saying
scores.
that, because Ralph DeGroat says, I never pass the ball. And I was like, I would pass it, but then they'll give it back to me.
Yes.
And so I have no choice. As a point guard, once I delegated it, it's time for me to shoot.
Right.
But see, look at that.
See that?
There's documents on that Ralph DeGroat.
Yes, it's documented.
Thank you.
And that was against Wilby.
Okay.
That was the game
I
against
do
Wilby.
remember there were some games definitely where, you know, we came out and we just started playing. We started gelling. Once we got into it, like again, Denise Fryer was definitely helpful with us and, you know, letting us find our own way. She was a young coach, female coach. So she, you know, she was so easy to just, you know, like whatever.
So do you guys feel like it was easier to play for her?
I think it was nice to play for Mr. Ward, but he left so early.
Okay.
So you couldn't kind of connect with him.
Okay.
But it was easy transitioning because she was already there. So
Gotcha.
definitely, she was this young, short person.
Yeah.
So we could kind of take advantage of her.
Yeah.
But definitely, you know, she would work with us and stuff like that. So it made it easier.
Okay.
But we definitely had, you know, normally you just have a guard, or you don't have a guard, you don't have no shooters. But Lori Pergineri, that's what Pergineri, she could shoot your lights out. You would think this white tall girl who can definitely shoot.
She can shoot.
And definitely Nakia, you know, just strongest day, definitely can go coast to coast down in the post. So it's easy just getting them the ball to transition to score.
So, your junior year, you guys start getting it. What's your senior year look like?
My senior year was horrible.
Oh.
It was so horrible. It was so horrible because Fryer wound up leaving. Well, they actually didn't leave, I don't think. I think she couldn't work for us anymore because I guess they were saying you had to be a teacher in the school. And she wasn't.
That became a factor.
That became a huge factor.
Ooh.
So that kind of messes up, especially coming off of beating Holy Cross. You know, that was like real huge for us. Our last year, you know, we go out, we win that game. We're excited to win that game.
Yep.
Next year comes, okay, we're gonna do good, and then Fryer definitely is not our coach.
Who replaces Fryer?
Mr. Rankin.
Oh, that's from Mr. Rankin. Good old Mr. Rankin, 8th grade English teacher.
But he was always the guy with the mechanics. He had the ball with the paddle, and you put your hand on it.
Yeah.
We were like past that. Like, bro,
and he came through there.
So,
he came through practice with the paddle.
Yeah, you put the paddle, you get in there and you shoot. So it was just like, it wasn't bad. It was good. You know, but it just wasn't the same. You know, you're taking somebody who's been there since day one, 3 years.
Yes.
And then through that, it's like...
And you get comfortable.
Okay, yeah, you're comfortable. She knows you. You know her very well. And you get your 6th grade coach. You know, your middle school coach.
Right.
And he's coming back with the basics. So
that's... Not knowing, see, and that's the key, too. You get someone that, like you said, that's been there from the beginning of, like, your high school years. So now, this person knows... Okay, she's past this. She's past, like, you guys are growing.
Yeah.
And then you get somebody in that's like, all right, we're going to bring it back to step one. It's like, huh? We just passed that 3 years ago.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? So, you can get a little pushback from that.
Yeah, so I think, you know, our senior year, you know, we definitely, like, had Yvette, who now was in, you know, with us playing and stuff like that. I mean, the games were still good. We're still doing. But, I mean, it definitely, you know, losing Sancha was, like, definitely a huge hit to us. But I think we, you know, we kind of did what we needed to do.
Because I was about to say, you guys lose Sancha, but I mean, Yvette Arroyo, like, she comes in.
She came in as a powerful point guard.
I'll put it like this. I remember playing against Yvette when we was playing a rec league. She was South End's main person.
Oh, yeah?
And we played on the hill. It was me, Jay Johns, Black, Edmund, Blizz, Drake Croft. Like, we had a nice little squad.
She came in such fresh, you know, young, really into it. So, you know, that's what, you know, senior year was kind of hard because definitely it was Mr. Rankin. We have, coach who's here already. We have some nice top players. But I mean, we still played, didn't, change or.
Okay, because sometimes what can happen with a coaching change, players that were used to getting playing time because the coach don't know them. Now you get pushed to the back. You putting these players up because you know them. Did you have to deal with that, or did they play the right players?
Yeah, I think in that point I'm still a point guard. Doesn't change anything. Nikia's still playing. Lori and Casey Keating, she's still playing.
Okay.
I don't think she ever stopped. And, of course, Lori's under me. So,
okay.
No, I don't think anyone lost their position in playing.
Okay, everybody. And you pretty much added Yvette once Santra.
Yes. You're going to add it right in, absolutely.
Okay. So you kind of kept the nucleus of the team.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. So the only difference you would say is the coaching change that kind of
just kind of like, what? You got Mr. Rankin. Like,
right.
Math teacher. Hey, okay.
Right. So, okay, now how's that? How do you guys play? Pretty much go throughout the season.
I still think we had some struggles with some of the teams. Definitely we're still, running neck and neck with some of the teams. Like we're still rivalry with Wilby, we're still rivalry with Kennedy. They had like Karen, Mika, and what is her name? I can't even think of her name now. Lawrence, Altia. Altia was there, yeah.
Yep, shout out to Altia.
Yep, she was playing. And at that point, we're still playing Sacred Heart, things like that. I think I was playing against Jen Dealey, who's now coach at Woodland.
Okay.
She probably doesn't remember that, but I remember her, I think. Yeah. But, we're still, I think we're still running total, it's still good. That Holy Cross is still good. Dogtech still good. Those teams are still,
So everybody's pretty much still doing what they do.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the reason why it's like good to highlight, women's basketball because a lot of times we can get caught up in like just watching the guys game
all day.
You know what I'm saying? But like you guys are competitive in your own right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Making noise. This team is, you might lose a player, but you still got this one to worry about. And you guys are like, when you guys play, it's like a dog fight too.
Exactly. That's what you want to get the real stories. You got to go to those people like Zena Williams and Deidre Mallory. Barb Love, me watching her, getting to know her once I was playing for Crosby. Like my person was Darlene Kelly. It's like, wow, this lady is good. This girl's good. Georgia Peoples. But when you get into that group, even Felicia Bird, Rodney Bird, even her watching her because she was at Crosby as well. So they would probably have way more. Little old me. I was playing. I enjoyed it. I came around with some amazing guys, and so I was able to play with them. But it's just we all were competitive. You step on the court, you're competitive.
And you can't downplay the time in which you figure the 80s, 90s. That was
you had all around players.
Exactly.
All at every school.
So it was so spread out where anybody could probably beat anybody. You know what I'm saying? So because the talent pool was got 2, 3 here, 2, 3 there, 2, 3. Even on the guys and the female level. You know what I mean? So that's why.
Especially like Anisha Ward. Shoot, this girl played red track. Like you ain't keeping up with her. I was like, jeez.
Right. And people forget about that. It's like, nah, you gotta go to some of the female games because they're getting it in. So your senior, as you're approaching your senior year, are you starting to look ahead towards like college and like after high school?
That's the funny part. Not really, but I did go. I did look into a school. There was other schools that wanted me. Of course, my mom was telling me, and I was like, no, which is so strange. So I did go. I did pick a school.
Which part is strange? That mom was suggesting school and you was like, no?
I was like, nah.
Cause it ain't strange because she
she suggested
listen
to her again.
The female school and you was like, no.
That's the part now.
Okay.
So, I pick a school. She's like, you sure you want to go there? And I'm like, yeah, I want to go there. And she's like, okay. So I wanted to go to Endicott College.
What's that?
Endicott College in Mass. Okay. It was all girls school. It's just like, so yeah, I was just like, that's why I said it got weird now.
It got weird.
So then I'm here at this all girls school. and it's private. But the thing for me was that's when I realized like this is not for me.
Yeah.
Because of the educational piece of it. I felt like part of me wanted to stay in school, but the other part, when it came to testing and things like that, I was like, yes, you come to a point like you want to pursue school or you just don't.
Yes.
So I played one semester there. They definitely were recruiting me. I played. I was pretty good, but I think once I left, I was like, yeah, I'm not going back.
Okay. That was it.
And that was it.
Okay.
And then I started at the rec.
Okay. Now, how was the game? Did the game change? Did the game change drastic from high school to college? To you?
I would say no. I think it was a little bit more. I had fun. I had so much fun in college. Absolutely.
Really?
It was easy to play.
Okay.
Because I was already in shape. I believe at the time I think that was D3.
Okay.
So it was just hard because most of the girls would not show up. Because most of them were not around, our town. So it was just hard to get them to play. Transitioning and on the court, it took me a while to start.
Okay.
But I would say a few games in, I wanted to start. Yes.
Okay. So on the court side, you adjusted well.
I could adjust well, yes.
Okay.
Because that was something I was good at, and I knew if my grades weren't good, I ain't gonna be able to play.
Yeah.
So it was just like, nah, I gotta, But when I left, I mean, the money back then, was just really hard. It was expensive. And again, no one really told me about basketball too much, or what avenues you can take to help to support. So for that part, I was like, I don't want to put my mother through this.
Right.
She's just, her and my stepfather were, raised me up, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to put my parents through this.
Okay.
School costs a lot of money. I'm gonna be in debt for the rest of my life if I continue like this. And do I really want to put myself in that? And I was like, okay, this is time for me to get a job.
Okay.
And then I found myself at the North End Rec Center.
Rec.
Where I am now.
Wow. So you transition, you go to college, you try it out. Academically, it can be much, and the thing is too, a lot of times, just looking back, a lot of us aren't really prepped for that next step.
Listen, I was literally in my internship doing it. I went right back to the Generality School, which used to be East Farm School.
Yep.
My goal was to become do early childhood education, which is K through 5th grade. And I went and I sat in the classes, and I'm like, wow, this is school. Okay. And then I got a taste of the rec, and I was like, this is different.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed more. I think it's way more hands-on in the rec center than it is being in the classroom.
Okay.
So that kind of was just like, I don't know. I'm just gonna leave this, and I like what I'm doing, and I'm gonna stay here.
So now you find your knack, the rec center. And shout out to the rec center too, because without a lot of the local recs, I don't want to just say Waterbury, like all over the state, all over the country, really. Some of these rec centers, they do save lives.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because people like yourself, Darius, Ralph, Bob, all these guys, Mr. West on the Hill, Miss Harris, all these, Vic, South End,
Miss Paris,
Miss
K. Wyrie,
yes,
goes
K. Wyrie. It's like all these people in these rec centers that, take this one under their wing, take that one under their wing, might know the father or the grandparents of this one, so they helping out. So it's like a lot of hands locally, can help a lot of these, kids. And it's not about making it to the league.
Correct.
I think most and foremost is, the education. If you can get the education at the next level, cool. You know what I'm saying? And then, aside from that, if you can get a free education, that's the bonus. Now you're winning if you get the free education.
Yes.
But most people don't, like I said, what happens if basketball's not my thing anymore? What if I, fizzle out? You know, you come back to the league, you can, you know, help out with the kids, run the summer program and stuff like that. It's something for, you know, everyone to do. And then when you guys come back, when we come back to the rec centers, now we can, the knowledge that we have, can help mold those that's younger the right way to, okay, this is the step I need to do. This is what I need to consider when I'm going here. Mm-hmm. So now they're better equipped and prepared when they start making the college decision, the college choices.
Yes.
Even the basketball camp decisions and choices and stuff like that. So now it's kind of like giving them a little bit more in the tool belt for the next phase of life.
Yeah, and that's where I came in, coming in the rec. You know, Sandy hired me, but she hired me for like recreation.
Okay.
And an after school program and stuff like that, or summer program. But I guess I was trying to get in the gym.
Okay.
And so she was like, no, you got to come back here and sew. But I'm not a sewer. And, you know, of course, you know, early child education, again, was my thing. So it was based on recreation. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I just kept kind of going to the gym. And she's like, no, you're not supposed to be here. And finally, she just said, go on. And just let me loose. And so
yes.
I didn't have to. I can do both, but I was in the rec, in the gym.
And the thing is, it's like, you know, you started your journey at the rec, you know, kind of like on some, all right, we're gonna have practice here, as opposed to up the
Crosby, yep.
You know, and then even early on, like, Darius not really, you know, give you no run or whatever. So now you go through that. Now you become a fixture, and you know, but then when you come back, you know, it's kind of like full circle.
Yes.
Because you go through that whole, you know, the beginner, like almost like the first day of school, like, I don't know nobody around here.
They don't know me.
They don't know me. They don't like me. Yeah. Next thing you know, you the principal.
Yeah.
You the principal.
Yeah.
And you know what I like to say is, like, you know, your work that you do with the rec, you know what I'm saying, throughout the years, it shouldn't go unnoticed. You know, a lot of the, you know, little boys, the girls, you know, everybody that come through the rec, you know, everybody, even the older guys, you know, Margret from the rec, you're definitely making your imprint, your stamp, you know, and it should not go unrecognized. You know what I'm saying? We definitely, you know, applaud you and praise you for that.
Appreciate it.
You know, and, you know, we want to say, you know, keep doing that, and you know, don't stop.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it. I mean, again, I am trying to stay as long as I can. That is the purpose. I mean, I'm still young, so I still have time under my belt to stay. I mean, it's weird not having, of course, Miss Sandy not there. Mm-hmm. You know, Ralph's not there. Darius not there. And Bob not there. So it's like I'm like still the last person, you know, hanging on. But as long as there's a community there, and hope to get better at it, and not just make it, you know, all about, you know, sports. But I mean, that's, you know, what the hub of it is right now. Yeah. But not even that, just giving a place for girls. Yes. Because it was always boys.
Always.
Monday through Sunday,
always.
Boys.
Always. Always.
And somehow, you know, I done pushed my way in, and it's more girls now.
Yes.
Playing the sport, which is nice. You don't get to see girls having a place where they can be, you know, seen. You always hear about the boys, but the girls always kind of take a back seat.
And would you say, I mean, what would you say is now, you know, as it comes full circle, what would you say your passion is?
My passion is, I would say, basically, because I didn't know enough about the sport, and I didn't push myself, or nobody was pushing me to go to school, to do this, to that, and I didn't have that outlet like that. So I think for me, my passion is not taking the kids, because you know, who are already talented, you know, grabbing that young girl who is not talented, and, you know, instilling anything I can to push her, you know, to build her confidence. Because you know, a lot of people don't know how to give people confidence. A lot of kids, you know, come to me and it's like, you know, I heard you do this for so and so. I heard you do this for so and so. Can you do this for my daughter? And, you know, how much can I pay? And like, pay? I don't need money. Right. Because at the end of the day, me watching your daughter flourish is the best price ever. Yes. And at the end of the day, what I'm gonna do with the money, you know? So, you know, you have those who want to give you this, want to give you that. Right. But it's not about that. My passion is definitely to give girls a voice, whether they're going to play the game or not, because you don't have to be a star of the team. There's so many roles you can play on a team, you know, and that's the key thing. You know, I had girls who were top players. Kim, you know, when Ralph and us were coaching, you know, you had Kim Clemens, Charlene Riddick, Brittany Parker. You had some key players, but then you had some underdogs, you know, that weren't as great players. Shoot, I had my little cousin, her name was Chelsea Harris. You know, she didn't know how to play basketball. She'd shoot the ball speed, but she was a good defender.
Yes.
And, you know, people were like, get this girl off me, get this girl off me. But she played, you know, defense, you know. So you would find little people like that who mattered on a court, and we would go throughout the whole city, you know, state, and, you know, play with the biggest people. So it's things like that that make, you know, me, you know, want to stay in it. Okay. And then just to give girls a purpose, like, hey, we can play. You know, we deserve to be here. And, you know, now in the summer, it's nice to see Monday through Thursday, you have the high school girls playing, and you have the middle school girls, you know, interacting. Not that my program is anything, but, you know, I don't go out looking for people. You know, I just stay in my own little area, and they come knock on the door. And I'm willing to, you know, take anyone. It doesn't matter who they are, as long as they want to play. You know, I'm willing to give them the chance.
So, just to kind of recap, I want to ask you, I want you to be honest too.
Go ahead.
Now, how would you recap and sum up your middle school, high school playing career? Even college. How would you but I really want to focus on how would you sum up like your overall high school?
I would say if I had to sum it up, I think it was great playing it. I had fun playing it. I don't think that was something that I would want to keep playing. I wouldn't want to keep playing because it was something I got into. I stayed with it. I enjoyed it. I love the part of keeping in shape. I love the part of seeing my name in the paper every now and then. And then, you know, hearing that, you know, my name and stuff like that. But when it came down to it, I don't think that was like my passion. And I was okay walking away from, you know, some people like, now I'm going back to school, I want to play. That wasn't my passion. My passion definitely, I would say, I don't regret nothing. You know, I enjoy everything that's happened. Basketball was a way to open the door for me, and it was a way to put me in a place where I can work with kids, because remember what I said, when I first started, I was going to school for working with young people. And I've always worked with young people because I was babysitting at such a young age. So it was something instilled in me already. So I think for me, basketball was high school was what it was. We had fun, we enjoyed it. We partied. You know, I met a lot of good friends. I'm still close with some of the friends from high school, even some from middle school. And it's nice to be in this age and now I get some of their kids that are my high school friends, which is funny.
And again, that part of your career kind of like goes full circle again. You know, so I mean, as you know, pretty much you started how, you know, you was watching the kids at home, your siblings and then the neighborhood kids, and then, you know, you go on to doing other things, and then even with sports, you know, how it's drawn you to, it got you through your career, but then you come full circle back, and now you coaching some of the kids of the people that you played with. You know, that's kind of like, you know, now, what would you say right now? What would you say your biggest takeaway, or not even takeaway? What would you say your biggest asset for you now that you have currently, like life after high school, back?
What would I take away from basketball? Say that again. Say it right.
What would you take away? Like, obviously you played basketball in high school, your basketball career. What's your takeaway now with life after basketball?
Well, my takeaway now that I look back on it, you know, there are some things that probably, if I knew, like how I'm teaching now, what I knew now, I probably would be sitting on this couch. I'd probably be like gone somewhere, you know. I definitely would, because again, no one ever told me much of anything about it. But now, what I do with my young people, like, listen, you know, education, get them grades. You know, sports is gonna come. You can definitely get to your D1, D2, D3. You can go to college.
Would you say that you learn more about the game after
Absolutely.
you're playing? Okay.
100%. I learn way more now, and still learning. I learn way more now after basketball.
After basketball.
After it.
What's the biggest misconception of prepping for the game?
Well,
whether it's mental or physical.
It's a lot of mental because you have to really be designed that you really want to do this. But then the physical piece is a lot of people don't realize is that if you left me open and I just shot, I'm gonna make it all day.
Okay.
But the part that, you know, in my program, you know, whether you're a boy, because I started coaching boys first.
Okay.
You know, in the rack. Everyone knows that I'm a conditioning coach. So condition is the key.
Yes.
That is the most important because at the end of the day, you're running, you're moving, and you have to go sometime 32 minutes, and if it goes into overtime, you still have to have stamina for that.
Yes.
And while they're pushing you, punching you, kicking you, whatever they
Still
can
gotta
do
make
with
your
basketball, you still gotta make your shot. And so a lot of people don't want to do the conditioning. There's one play. So a lot of people steer away from because, oh, this girl's making me run 100 sprints. Oh, she's putting on the heat. Oh, she's making us run stairs.
Yes.
Oh, she's making us jump rope. But that's the key to the game. And, you know, my thing is going to be always fundamentals. You have to learn the fundamentals of the game. So I can laugh at Mr. Rankin for putting that ball in my hand today, but I understand it now because at the end of the day, we have to get back to the fundamentals. Even in the WNBA, we had one of the coaches, I think her name is Brandy, from the WNBA for Connecticut Suns, who came in and even talked to one of my young people. She was like, listen, these girls are still in the gym doing zigzag drills. They're still doing the Mikan drill.
And what people don't realize, through all these years, right, there's still only 3 ways to score.
Yeah.
A layup, jump shot, and a dunk.
A dunk.
There's still only 3 ways to score. You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, when you take out, you know...
Got a foul shot?
Still a jump shot.
No, foul shot is different than a jump shot, I think. Jump shot, you're jumping shooting. Foul shot, you're standing shooting.
Okay, let's add 4.
I wouldn't even add a dunk. That's being fancy.
Yeah,
Some people miss a dunk. Just remember,
they do, but they
in the height of a game, and it's like you're about to either win, you go and dunk, you miss it, you lose. So why would you not make the layup? See?
Yeah, but okay, now say you up by 20 and you got a fast break.
That's a different situation. We're talking about game line winners.
You up by 20.
It's fundamentals. Fundamentals of the game is not dunking. Fundamentals of the game is keep it simple, stupid.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
Yes, but now if I'm 6'5" and I got a fast break,
you can actually
you can lay it up.
Yeah, you can, but if you go and dunk it, what if it just banks and goes that way? What if you get injured going up there? So again, keep it fundamentals. Fundamentals is foul shot, jump shot, like you said, and a layup. Dunking, that's what it's a dunking.
Well, it's a different way to score.
You must be dunking then, because I never seen you dunk, but you know.
Oh, no, heck no, not now. Not now. Back in the day, 20-something years ago, yes. Not now, no. But I mean, no, I say that to say though, like you said, keep it simple. You know what I mean? There's only, in the ways that we can score hasn't changed.
No.
You know what I mean? So, you know, instilling that in these kids, you know what I'm saying? And from a coaching standpoint, are there any challenges when you're dealing with like parents and so forth?
Well, the good thing about being at the rec is that in my program, I don't really have to deal with parents as much. But, you know, it comes to a point where, you know, parents do play a major, major part in today's kids playing. And you get it because at the end of the day, they're not looking at the court, at everything. And people say, oh, I'm not looking at just my child. But when you're really on the court and you're watching, you're just looking at your child.
Right.
You're not looking at the game itself. You're not looking to what the coaches are doing or saying. So that part, there are some pieces like that because...
Well, they're like, oh, my kid, how come my kid only got 10 minutes to playing time? And, ooh, how do you navigate through that?
Well, I don't really have to. My coach has to do all that.
Okay.
But there are some things that I can because it's hard. And, you know, again, being in high school is different. Middle school, when I do travel, it's a lot different because at the end of the day, I have a method. My kids, today you can start, the next game you won't.
Okay.
You know, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm educated enough to understand the game. I'm educated enough to know to put someone in who's not going to mess up, because middle school is perfect world for me because I can train them fundamentally, get them set, and they're good. But high school is way different.
I was gonna say, like, how do you? I mean, because you coach at the high school level, you coach at middle school and rec level, right? How do you, like, let's just say if you're coaching your rec team, do you take some of the onus off because all right, this is just a rec league?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So now, when you have the high school league that you're coaching, or the high school team that you're coaching, you're holding parents and kids to a higher regard. I say parents because the parents, they have the games and stuff like that. So it's kind of like those are the ones that kind of, I don't want to say influence the game, but they're
yelling, they're putting pressure on the kids.
Yeah, they're putting pressure.
When we had COVID, the one thing I heard one of the kids say from one of their teams were playing, and the girl was like, "This is has to be the best time ever." And we're like, "Why?" Because my mom and dad ain't out there yelling.
Ooh.
And I was like, "Wow." And to hear that, because again, listen, when I used to play, my uncle used to be screaming, "Oh, I could have been home watching the soap operas," and so it's just that pressure. You're getting pressure already from your coaches. You're putting pressure on yourself, and then now here's your parents, your mom and dad yelling, and then you get that whole mixed signals. Like, well, why did your coach say this? Well, I don't know. Well, maybe I should ask him.
Okay.
No, don't ask.
That's so key. The pressure that the parents put on these kids, and the reason why I say that's key because you have, obviously with the social media, everybody want to. Have the highlights and all that of the kids and stuff, but
they take the good highlights, but they won't take those. And people don't understand. You're scoring 30 or 25 points, or let me say 10, but on the tail end of the defense, they're scoring 15, 20. So you're scoring, but giving up points, so you lose.
Do you find, and I like to ask coaches this, do you find kids that have parents kind of like living through the kid?
Of course.
And it's like, doing that extra. I don't want to say extra. Is it extra? Like,
I think it's extra because at the end of the I was at a game one time just recently and I watched a parent, like the coach is trying to coach her team. It's a big game.
Okay.
And the kid is over there talking to the parent. And I'm like, it's a huge game right now. And in my mind, I'm like, if I was a coach, I would say get your clothes and don't come over here.
Yes.
And so at some point, you got to let kids let the coaches coach.
And I think,
and it's one thing to sit there and say, you're motivating, screaming, let's go, like that. But when you're out there just saying anything, it's like, what are you talking about right now?
And and it's crazy because, the pressure that you guys, it placed the coach under. It's like, I'm trying to coach your kid, but then you got the parent, you screaming other things from the bleachers.
Or they're home saying, hey, why are you not scoring?
So, the kid is, faced with so much, and it's like, you do this, we're trying to get you in this school, and it's like, the kids want to play.
Yes. 9 times out of 10, most of the kids want to play, unless you get that kid who just wants to score. Now, if that kid's just wanting to score, that's a different situation because now it's like, okay, that changes the game because what are you really working for? I mean, ask yourself this question. When you go to high school and you're playing a sport, you're playing basketball, what's your ultimate goal?
Right.
Is your ultimate goal to score and get your 1,000 points?
Win.
Okay. What else is your goal?
Some people college.
To win your league? We're just talking about high school.
Yeah, okay.
To win the league? What is it? Brass, whatever. Yeah.
Brass ring.
The next thing is the NVL.
The NVL, yeah.
And then I hope your ultimate goal is to win a state championship.
Yeah.
Back then I didn't even know none of that.
Well, back then they had Class L, Class Double L, Class S, Class F. That's all it was.
But now
in the States, now they got the brass. And
so now you're asking yourself, what are kids really going into school to achieve?
Yes.
Are they just going to achieve because they want to score 40 points and you still lose? you know, or you're just bragging for that, or you're just trying to go for 1,000. You know, you have that mindset.
So with those challenges, like how do we, first, I mean, it's kind of like a two-part question. How do we as parents better parent our kids in the realm of athletics?
I would say the crazy thing about it is what I do say, what I do like now. Before, you really never seen parents at games. It was just like most of us just bring it around. You never see them.
No.
Then they get to high school, their names start getting the paper, you see them. I just think that we just have to really put our faith in the coaches that they have. And don't get me wrong, same thing with the coaches.
Okay.
You're just hoping that coach is going to do the right thing. But being in high school, I had to learn as a coach, like, okay, they're supposed to be trying out. But how are you trying out? And the game starts in like 2 weeks.
Ooh.
So you're kind of like navigating, trying to see that. So as parents, you just really want to make sure your kid is at the right school.
Okay.
Of course, number one, their grades are right, and making sure your kid is doing what they need to do for their coaches.
At the right school.
Yes, you have to be at the right school.
Now.
And that's a hard one around this city. There's so many high schools. There's so many things.
Because it's like, okay, at the right school in terms of academics, or now in terms of athletics. And when I say athletics, playing time. You go to this school.
Well, you can go to any school you really want to. You just got to make sure, number one, that the coaches and whoever's training them are not just basing it on basketball.
Gotcha.
You have to. My girls know, like, you can't do this and not be educated. That's the one thing that I kind of push more, like, is that the education piece, because it's easy to play a sport and not go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
But if your grades are not right, you can't play.
Amen.
You have to, and I mean, this is middle school, 6th grade,
Yeah.
right? Playing travel team.
Yeah,
you come here with an F or D, you're not playing.
You're not playing.
Yeah, you can't even practice.
And you know what? I think that piece is so key, because a lot of times we got these gifted athletes or these athletes where sometimes the parents could get caught up into their kids' athleticism and forget about junk. Got a book report or your schoolwork or no schoolwork first. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you good and you gifted in all these other areas, but we got to tackle that first. Okay, that you ain't getting that. Okay, you don't play. We have a gentleman on our show. Shout out to Calvin Davis. He pretty much talked about some of his earlier trials when he was playing ball. His grades wasn't right in middle school. His parents took him off the team. You ain't playing.
I can see that. I remember before you were born. So yeah, I could definitely see
you ain't playing.
His parents absolutely being like that, and I think that's key. But the one thing I do like now, you can see most of the kids now really want to go to school.
Yes.
That's great. It's just hard, because at the end of the day, everybody can't be D1, and people don't realize you can go to D3 and still be good.
Here's the thing too. This is a discussion I had with one of my boys. Shout out to Haran Raymond.
Hey Haran, he was in school when I was there too.
A lot of times, we as a society or even the culture, we get caught up in making it as the league. Mm-hmm. And then we place the pressure on our kids and sometimes ourselves, like, I got to put my son in this, I got to put my daughter in that. But a lot of times, making it is getting that free education, getting that piece of paper at the end of the day.
Let me tell you something.
That's making it.
I had 2 girls who I just, most of the time I can tell who's going to be D1, whatever. It's not hard, especially with size, game-wise. And, we had a nice team at the rec. Most of our girls guards went to Sacred Heart.
Okay.
Then the rest of our power forwards went to Willoughby. And then we had 2 who wound up going. One went to Chase Collegiate, St. Margret at the time.
Yep.
And then one went to Holy Cross.
Okay.
And so the 2 that kind of went in the outskirts wound up going D1.
Okay.
Which, was nice. And so, but then there was like the Brittany Parker who still went to school, still played basketball. She did her thing. Jenna Glaciers who still went to school, still played basketball. So it didn't really matter as long as they made the grades. Katie O'Toole who went, Michelle Curry, people who still, no matter how, they were lower level at the game, they still could be able to play.
Yes.
And a lot of times people don't realize, like, these two girls, at the end of the day, they fought hard. They gave up a lot.
Yes.
And people don't realize you got to give up a lot if you really want to get to that level of game.
You do. You got to
And
sacrifice.
and I mean, they branched off, went to a nice AAU team, because people don't realize that when you're playing basketball in high school, what college coach is really coming to watch you play?
Right.
You got to remember, the season is going on.
Yep.
When we're going on, so you want to get on that great AAU team. And I mean, not the AAU teams today.
Right.
The AAU teams are different, but the AAU teams back then definitely, which helped them. And one went D1, the other one went D1. And there were some who went D2, some went D3.
Okay.
Some of them, didn't have to pay for school. And that's, to me, I think that's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to, definitely go to school, go to, middle school, get to high school. And then hopefully, if you're playing the sport, you can definitely get a full ride. But then knowing now, even at D3, you can get a nice academic college,
Yes.
Nice financial packet, and pretty much not pay that much
Right.
to finish school. So you're absolutely right when it comes to that. A lot of people don't make it to the NBA. I mean,
No,
I've
most
never.
don't.
Yeah, most of them don't.
Most
I can
don't.
we only think of one person when it comes to the city of Waterbury.
Right.
And great. Shout out to him because he's the one. Which is nice. But then you get a lot of people who definitely can play overseas. You had a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Evan Saunders, Kenny Green.
Yeah.
Two people who literally supported our girls program that were amazing. Things like that. But you don't get to see that. So
No, you don't.
You're absolutely right. Ultimate goal is just making it.
Making it. And a lot of times, a lot of emphasis is on the inner city sports. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not to say that, the suburbs and all that, everybody's fighting for that spot in college. But, the inner city sports, we should fight more than just athletics, the education. I like to see a lot of these kids, be successful on the athletic, stage, but when you come back and you got that diploma, you got that degree. So now when hoops or the football and the sports is done, now you're still you got a career. You got a career at this. You got a career at that.
Yeah.
You come back
And give back.
and give back.
And that's what I see.
And then maybe you can help the next group go a little bit further. And I think that's what this city needs is a lot of us coming back to boost the next ones a little bit further. Get a little further ahead. And also too, this show is to hopefully some of the younger ones could see some of the gyms that they have walking around them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's not, oh, Junk, I didn't know she played basketball. I didn't know he did this. I didn't know. It's just kind of like giving them an outlook so they can see, like, you're amongst some gyms that can give you some knowledge. That can, hey, this didn't work for me. You know what I'm saying? I think you should do this. This might work for you.
And I think that's important. And that's one thing I do like about the rec. Most of the girls that do, have come up under it have, I was that person, like, listen, when I used to work at the rec for the summer program, once they got to a certain age, come volunteer, now I'm going to hire you.
Oh, cool.
And that's, that piece that was always so nice. And, they went to college and they would come back and then they would do it to the other kids. But, it's nice to have, like, the Charlene Reddicks come back to the rec,
Yes.
talk to the girls. It's nice to have the Kim Clemens, who has her own daughter now.
Yes.
And it's showing them, to come back. And Ayanna Ward, who definitely, there's so many girls that have been under me now who come back. It's nice, even like Brittany Parker, who can, can't talk too much because now, she's coaching at Marist.
Yes.
And I even have girls, we had girls in our center, Ralph and I, who are now coaches, for some colleges,
Wow.
For some high schools.
That's huge.
Outside the town, Daryl Parker's daughter,
Yeah.
It's nice for them to call me like, hey, I need some pointers, about coaching. You get to hear things like that are amazing, but just doesn't start on the court because at the end of the day, we're still in the homes when they're acting up. When their mom or dad is saying so-and-so is missing or so-and-so is not acting right, you got to go in there and be like, what's good? What the heck is going on?
Yes.
Because even if you don't want to play basketball, there's still much more for you to do than just sit here and play basketball. You can go to school because at the end of the day, who cares? You don't have to play anymore.
Right.
But
Right.
get your education.
Get that education.
Get it now more than ever.
Yes. And I think that's a great way to kind of like end it where we pretty much send the message to the kids. Yeah, play sports. But the ultimate goal, if you're gonna go to school, try to get that education.
Yeah.
Not try, get
Get
that
it,
education.
yeah.
Get that piece of paper.
And there's a lot of people in our city. There's amazing group of, guys, and it's, that's one thing that I enjoy. With all Waterbury, there's, it's nice to see the guys come back.
Yes.
Whatever program they're doing, I think it's amazing. And trust me, kids, they bounce from this, bounce from that, bounce from that.
Mm-hmm.
To me, get what you can from that person if you got enough to move on to the next person.
Yes.
Because there's always somebody that can show you different.
Absolutely.
And, it's, you'll hear like, oh, well, so-and-so's doing this and so-and-so's doing this. So what do you think about that? Just think it's nice to finally, to give that, acknowledgement to the men, that are doing the trainings.
Yes.
Of course, you might not get it right all the time, but at least, they're out there. And it's nice to see some of the guys who were in the rec when I was, growing up, that we were all playing around each other, to see them out in the community, doing their thing.
Yes,
training the boys. Hey, why not?
Hey, giving them that piece of that knowledge, that they didn't have. That hopefully that'll get the kids a little bit further.
If the kids want to listen.
If the kids want to listen, they got to listen.
They got to learn.
But at least the information is there.
Yes.
At least make the information readily available for these kids. But Margaret, it's been a pleasure having you on our show, sitting next to you on the couch. And sharing your story, and all that you do with the kids. And I don't want to downplay. You just got that championship a couple days ago.
And that's not why I'm here. I just want to make sure that people know I was coming way before that.
Woo woo!
But yes, definitely, it is nice to have a state. They should have had it in 2017, but we were runner-up.
Yes.
And so even through COVID and all the things that went on, it definitely is nice for these young girls who have worked hard.
Absolutely.
We have such an awesome coach. Lombardo is amazing.
Yes.
He is like a basketball guru. This guy is just like, even to this day, I'm still learning who he is. And it's such a great program.
Yes.
I think, literally, I don't know how I wound up there, but I'm there.
Yes.
I literally was about to go to Crosby with Phil. Somebody said he had an open position, and I called him. He was like, Margret, you're too late. I'm like, okay. So definitely Mike Stanko. Shout out to Stanko. He's the one that made me ask me to go there. And I said, sure, I'll try. Shout out to those who keep trying to say I should be a varsity coach.
Yes.
I feel like that is just not my calling. I like what I'm doing in my middle school, but I'm definitely great to be a part of the Holy Cross family.
Yes.
It definitely is a wonderful program. The
Yes,
girls really do listen. They like it. They buy into it.
Okay.
And that's the key of buying into a game, because when you get to college, you have to play the same role.
Exactly.
You're not just going to come on that court and just say, I'm just going to come out here shooting.
Right.
That ain't happening.
No. But you know what? Shout out to you for just making a difference in these kids' lives. The girls need it. You know what I'm saying? Us kids, not us kids, but the kids in our community need it. And thanks for being the pillar. You could have, after college or whatever, or you could have left Connecticut. You could have left Waterbury. But the fact that you came back to the roots, the North End Rec, made an impact there.
I had some
still
strong,
making an impact.
Yeah, I had some strong females like the late Sandy Williams.
Yes.
The late Kay Wyrick, who just like,
Miss
you're
Kay
going to know this
Wyrick.
rec. This is when it was, actually, it was born 1974. And I'm like, wait, that's the year I was. She instilled it with us. And then, even like the late Miss Carr,
Miss
introducing
Eleanor
double
Carr.
dutching to me,
Double dutch.
making me be a double dutch coach and
Yes.
stuff like that. So
Shout out to her.
there have been some
RIP.
amazing, strong women, even Bree Parker, Devon
Yes.
Parker's mother,
Yes.
when I came in, they were already there. So, there's a lot of great women that came through that rec center.
Absolutely.
And Miss Sandy definitely is one, but definitely Ralph DeGrove.
Oh, yes, Ralph.
Everything he'd be like, oh, you don't even save me. But, literally he is probably one of, outside of Fryer, who literally in the very beginning, she definitely was, gave us all our basketball thing. But then when I got into that rec, Ralph had showed me a lot. And I just, he was driving to Florida. Sleeping pretty much. But once I realized that we left and I can take it, like we're not driving, we flying.
Yes.
So, it was him that got me to where I'm at today, and him leaving me, just bringing that back.
Yes.
To like, now we're not going to let this end. We're going to keep it going, and hopefully we could add more to it with more girls wanting to come to the center, to play.
Amen. And we can't thank you enough. for all the hard work and dedication that you do and that you bring to the city, that you put into the city. So, you know, on behalf of Running Back, for the fan entertainment, we thank you for all that you do.
Appreciate it.
And we like to, you know, gift you with one of the gifts that we give our guests that sit on this table. So, on behalf of For the Fam, we like to gift you the first female.
You're gonna wear some Holy Cross.
Jersey.
This is so cute. Wow, and it's my number. Hey, 44. I don't even know why I got 44. Mr. Rankin made us get uniforms. Yeah. Look at that. This is probably the only thing I got that resembles that.
What a great legend.
That is cute.
Yes.
That is so nice. Oh, that is so well nice. 44.
Yes.
The number.
And again, we thank you for all that you do and keep doing it.
Well, just know I'm not a legend in basketball. I'm just a legend probably in coaching. That's it.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
you're a legend because, number one, all these seeds around the city, you know what I'm saying, you planted, and hopefully a lot of them going to blossom into great stars.
That is a good way to say
You
it.
made history. You never know what kind of lives you're gonna touch. You know what I mean? Plus, it's Women's History Month, so
that is true.
Yes. Women's History
I have to
Month.
learn how to shut up and take my.
I'm the same way. Just take a compliment. But honestly, based on everything that you just said, ain't no doubt that you made positive impacts in people's lives. So yes, you have made history. Nobody can take that away from you.
Amen to that.
Right.
Amen to that.
And thanks
Aw,
again.
Thank you. You just made my day.
Yes.
Oh, that is so cute.
Now we got to get our little pick.
Oh yeah, we gotta get the. At least I don't wear nothing Holy Cross, right?
I know.
I know they're like class of '93. I got hoodies, and I said yes, that's right.